We are ready to go. Please join me. Welcome to join me. We are about to get started. What is it? Happy Monday, y'all. Let's get into this. The Flo Show No Filter first live episode of the Wake Up Show. 8 a.m., 8-ish. Let's say 8-ish a.m. Let's get right back into it. The thoughts, views, and opinions shared on the Flo Show No Filter are for educational and entertainment purposes only. I am not a professional. I am just good. Happy Monday to everybody out there. We are back. Oh, so much shit happened over the weekend. We got so much news to talk about this week. We got a lot of news to talk about today. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you enjoyed your weekend. I enjoyed mine. But I don't know, y'all. The country is going between the new presidency and all the new rule things that's going on, and Diddy and Luigi Mangione. It's just a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about, y'all. We got another Diddy documentary coming up. I think it actually drops tomorrow, called The Fall of Diddy, one brought to you by ID. This is the one with what is her name? D Woods from Danity Kane spoke out on this one. Quite a few people spoke out on this documentary. You know, these Diddy documentaries coming out like every 5 minutes. We got a new one, but this one looks like it's got some new interviews with, I think, Rod, the guy who brought the producer up after Cassie. He was the next big thing as far as brought a big case to Diddy. He filed that big lawsuit. He's in there, and Vibe magazine people, all kind of people talking shit on Diddy. We're gonna talk about that. And then I've been hearing a lot of y'all asking about the Luigi case and wanting to talk about that. So I'm gonna talk about that today for y'all. And these two are like some of the most important trials in modern day history. The Diddy trial and the Luigi trial. And isn't it fitting, or should I even say ironic, that they have their husband and wife are the lawyers for both? So the husband is Diddy's lawyer and his wife is Luigi's lawyer. So it's just kind of ironic that the two trials of the century would have lawyers that were married. But I'm gonna tell you why these two trials are trials of the century. Basically, Diddy's trial, this is one of the biggest trials of seeing if we're gonna be able to hold somebody as powerful as Diddy. Is he gonna be held accountable? Is he gonna be able to be held accountable? This is what we're waiting to find out, because Diddy, I would say, has to be the biggest celebrity, A-list celebrity that's gone down this path. And he has so much information, allegedly, on so many politicians, so many big time figures, that people are wondering, will he actually be brought to justice? And so if he is found guilty or found innocent, either way, this case will have repercussions going forward. If he's found guilty, then that could lay the groundwork for a lot of this Hollywood shit going on, and it'll send a message that shit, somebody as big as Diddy can be brought down, then anybody who've been engaging in these shenanigans can be brought down. And then we go to the Luigi Mangione case. For the first time, the healthcare, which has been one of the biggest scams in history, we all know that, but it's been brought to the forefront because of this killing of the CEO of United Healthcare, what's his name? Brian Thompson. And now all the CEOs of healthcare who've been getting over on people forever, now they are in danger. And talking about they're going to look into better policies and using more compassion, all the stuff that you would think they would have been doing before one of their CEOs got killed. So with all the mounting frustration of people getting denied healthcare access and all of this stuff, now the public is rallying around Luigi Mangione. And they don't like that because they are used to us having our head in the sand as they make billions and billions and billions and billions of easy money. And we don't, we're just blind to it. Well, the veil has been lifted up now. And now they have a problem. And so this Luigi case is huge for healthcare and for the public. They are scared that Luigi is getting so much support from the public and other entities. They're scared he is going to be set free by a jury. And that's due to a term called jury nullification. We're going to go over that later on in this episode as well. So let's start. Can we start with the this Diddy documentary? They got another one and another one and another one. Everybody get a Diddy documentary. So ID has one now. So let's go into that one. First, let me give you let's listen to let's get the trailer for that first, and then we'll go into it.
Mr. Combs wanted to see the covers before they were published. It was policy for us not to show covers to anyone before they were published. He called me in my office. I told him again, we don't show the covers, we don't share the story. I told him that I wouldn't be making an exception. And he said that he would see me dead in the trunk if I did not show it to him.
This is a vibe, person who ran Vibe, a woman.
I said to him, you need to take that back. He said something to the effect because, he wasn't taking shit back. So then I said, I'm calling my attorney. And my attorney called him to say that if he didn't immediately fax over an apology, my attorney was going to reach out to law enforcement. And I think it took about 90 minutes to 2 hours, and I received that apology. What I've only recently come to realize through members of the staff at that time was that he had actually, in the days before, come up to the Vibe offices with two top guys looking for me.
Now we're gonna stop right there. This is a Black woman that ran the Vibe magazine back in the day. And they had a policy that they didn't let the person who was on the cover of the Vibe, they didn't let them see the cover until it was out. Well, Diddy didn't want to listen to that rule, allegedly, and sent guys and came to her, a woman, with men looking for her, threatening bodily harm. And so we're gonna touch on that story of that young lady and the vibe. This is in the fall of Diddy ID, which is actually dropping tomorrow. I just got a few exclusive clips that were sent to me, and we're gonna go over those here on the Flo Show No Filter. But let's get into it. So y'all already know this is the Flo Show No Filter. Every day at 8-ish, between 8 and 9, we going live, and we on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. So check us out. And today we're gonna dive into some more allegations of Diddy with this Vibe magazine young lady, which is also in the fall of Diddy. So let's get the details of this situation. Danielle Smith versus Diddy. It's basically what we got going on. Now, Danielle Smith was a trailblazing editor with Vibe magazine in the 90s, late 90s. And back in 1997, Diddy threatened her over a magazine cover featuring the late notorious B.I.G. Now, Smith says the threat wasn't subtle. She said it was violent, it was specific, and personal enough to make her fear for her safety. Now, this wasn't some offhand comment. It wasn't something she felt she needed to involve her lawyer in, but now Diddy eventually, he apologized after the lawyer stepped in. She didn't think it was necessary, but obviously, maybe that's all that Diddy respects is a lawyer. But that don't erase what happened. And obviously, that's why she's on this damn documentary spilling the beans on Diddy's ass. But this is where we need to pause and think about the bigger picture. Think about, at this time, Diddy was a kingpin in the music industry. Smith, Danielle Smith, was a woman in a high-profile role. But even with her stature, she felt the crushing weight of his power. She had to balance protecting herself with protecting her career. Because let's be real, standing up to someone like Diddy, especially in the 90s, early 2000s, that was like career suicide. He ran everything. Let's just be honest. Diddy was larger than life. So let's unpack the power dynamics that were going on at this time. Diddy wasn't just another artist looking for a Vibe magazine cover. At this time, he was the industry's golden boy. This is the late 90s. This more money, more problems. This is shit. Even I'll Be Missing You. All the stuff, all the iconic shit that Diddy was doing in the 90s. He was running shit. We just had to be honest. He had the money. He had the connections. And he had the ability to make or break careers. So when someone like that lashes out, it's not just words, it's a weapon. And this Black woman trying to run Vibe was forced to battle Diddy by herself. Now, even back then, women in general, but especially Black women in male-dominated industries, have always had to battle extra battles, fight extra fights. A woman needed to be even stronger than a man. Vocal, but not too vocal. Because when you push back, you get labeled a problem, and next thing you know, people don't want to work with you. But that didn't stop Danielle Smith. She stood her ground. But how many women in this era stayed silent, you think? Because everybody didn't have the strength or the power or the means that maybe Danielle had. How many women, men, whoever, was Diddy able to keep silence in this era? Silent in this era. So the truth is, men like Diddy have relied on the ability to keep people silent in order to stay powerful, to stay on top of everything. So what stands out to me is the consistency of these claims. I mean, this is a pattern. It's almost like everybody got the same story. Now, Diddy's name came up in numerous lawsuits, allegations of mistreatment, and all kind of stuff in this time. But in the 90s, people wasn't trying to hear that shit. You would get silenced quick as shit if you tried to come out against Diddy. But like I said, one thing we cannot deny is over and over again, we see this pattern: intimidation, control. And every time his team denies it, people don't buy it. But how many times do we have to fear these stories before we start connecting the dots? We got to connect these dots, y'all. One allegation could be dismissed as a misunderstanding, a communication, maybe just a flat out lie, maybe. But 2, 3, 4, 5, 100, it starts to become a pattern. Now, Diddy isn't the only powerful man to use that playbook. Let's understand that. But he's the one in the fucking hot seat right now, so this is who we're going to be addressing. And if Diddy gets a chance to slide, then it's open season on anybody trying to be in the music industry, movie industry, anything like that. You will have to play the game. Because if Diddy can get away with it, everybody gonna feel like they can get away with it. This is why accountability in these cases is so important. It's not about tearing nobody down just for the sake of it. It's about justice and getting justice and providing justice to the people who need it. And before 2024, justice for the common folk in these type of situations was always in the back, took a back seat. So it's not about just making sure that powerful men can't keep using their influence. It's bigger than that. We are trying to end that shit indefinitely. Where people realize that if you use your money and power to influence and victimize people, then in the new way we do things, your ass gonna rot. And that's kind of what's going on now. Think about the many women who come forward in recent years. In this time when you come forward, you risking your name, your privacy. People will troll you, all type of shit. So to come out and speak against celebrities, people with power, or any of that, it's tough. It's very tough. But we can't stop. We can't stop supporting the victims. We can't stop looking into these stories. Stories like Danielle Smith's reminds us that we still got a lot of fucking work to do. Accountability isn't just about the big court cases or the big media shows. It's about people like y'all out there, people like me, demanding better from society, from people, from the world we live in. So this is another documentary that I'm gonna ask that you pay attention to. D Woods is actually in this documentary, and if you remember, I told you I was very, very, very close with D Woods back in the early, what was it, from like 2005 to maybe 2008 or something like that. In that time period, I was running around. And I can say one thing, D Woods, it will be on Good Morning America today, talking about Diddy. She is the singer from Danity Kane. She will be on Good Morning America today. And one thing about D Woods, she ain't never been the one, like even back then, she would hint around to like Diddy was a monster and doing wild shit or doing dumb shit. She would hint around to it. But she never told me or never told anybody that I know of what was really going on. She was just working and singing. And she one of those people that she would never, you can tell she's not going to use no bullshit to get on top. She's just going to work hard as fuck. So I'm telling you all that to say, from my cosign in my heart, D Woods is somebody that you can fucking listen to. And I'm standing on that. Because I actually know her and I actually knew her in this time and kind of knew hints about what was going on with Diddy and the females that worked around him and all that. But like I said, they didn't give me details and I ain't really asked for much because, you know, when it ain't my business, I figure if somebody wants to tell me, they'll tell me. I'm always willing to listen, but I'm not going to pry and make you tell me your personal business, you know, because some people, you know, they want to keep shit to themselves. But I can tell you one thing, you can believe D Woods. She's one of us when I say that. She's one of us. Like I met damn near everybody you can meet in the industry. And I can tell you the ones who are one of us. And there's very few, but D Woods is one. You ain't got to worry about her just getting on Good Morning America saying shit to blow her up because she ain't even that type. So let's check out this interview, a clip from her interview on Good Morning America.
Well, it's more of a question of why I've not been able to speak up in the past. And I would say that this moment now is a time where I feel like my experience, my truth will really be heard and actually considered and believed. You know, he is looked at as a hero of our community, and myself included, I looked up to him too, you know. So a lot of people don't want to believe that their hero can be this other person.
Now, I'm telling you this, Diddy he in trouble, y'all. And the reason why I say that is I've been around. I was in the industry, raised up in it, knew it. I've met everybody, still know a lot of the people to this day. And certain people, let's say like a D Woods, they are 100% not somebody looking for a quick check, not somebody who's looking to live off somebody else's name, just a good, hardworking woman who believes in her talent and works hard as fuck and been working hard as fuck since way back in 2000 up until now. And so when you got people like that coming out, oh, your ass in trouble. Because she not one of them people just looking to make some money or looking to be seen. She gonna tell you hardcore facts and it's gonna hit the fan. So make sure y'all check out that Good Morning America interview is today. If you miss it live, it's supposed to be from, by the time you it's probably going on in like, I think 10 o'clock or anytime between 7 and 9 or 8 and 10, depends on where you live at. But if you don't check it out, I think they said it'll be on the ABC. I think Good Morning America is ABC, whatever their app is. I think it's ABC is the channel and it's their app. But yeah, check that out. Definitely don't want to miss it. We also got so many topics to cover that I won't even be able to fit them in this one. We're going to go to this Luigi Mangione. This case, if you're not paying attention to the Luigi Mangione case, you need to. It means a lot because it's the first time that healthcare is really under the microscope. And it ain't just us yelling and screaming. Now they're to the point where CEOs are fearing for their life. They're actually taking their name off of these healthcare pages and not showing that they're not showing that they're CEO of no healthcare. They don't want to be pointed out as that. And so the dynamics of the case, the way the public is behind Luigi Mangione, the prisoners are behind Luigi. The prison guards are behind Luigi. And I already said the public is. And so that has the powers that be, the system, the government, whoever you want to call it, they are scared shitless. And they're scared shitless because of a thing called jury nullification. And so we're going to get into that. And let me explain to this. And jury nullification it is something that if you don't know what it is, we're about to break it down. But this case is going to affect your healthcare rates. This case is going to affect the percentage of denied health insurance. How many times you get denied? This case is going to have a lot to do with it. Now, United Healthcare denied a whopping 34% of all claims before the CEO got killed, shot in the back. 34%. So that's a little more than out of every 3 people who pay their health insurance, every 3rd person was getting denied coverage that they needed. Most industry, let's say like Kaiser Permanente or some of the other, there are like around like 12%, 10%. United Healthcare is at 34%. And as sad as it is, I believe that cost Brian Thompson his life. Think about it. If you're denying 1 out of every 3 people, and you are going to have a lot of motherfuckers mad and a lot of people who end up dying because of that. People are dying because people in the healthcare are greedy and denying coverage for their own pockets. United Healthcare was so shady with it, they had an AI system set up to deny more. They were trying to figure out a way to deny more health coverage. Ridiculous, y'all. And because of this situation, it has put a microscope on them. I'm about to get into the facts, but let me just tell you this. From the time that CEO has got shot and killed and all the backlash with the public saying the healthcare is a scam and basically putting a middle finger up to all the healthcare companies, well, they've lost $63 billion since this happened. So let's get into this shit. So this jury nullification is a legal theory that a lot of people weren't familiar with until this case. But right now it's being whispered in courtrooms, and the government is scared as fuck. Because Luigi Mangione, the man accused of murdering United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, could be set free because of this. Now, let me be clear. This case is more than just about one man's guilt or one man's innocence. This is about healthcare and being fair to the American people. It's about the power dynamics in our legal system and whether jurors might decide to rewrite the script entirely. So let's break it down. What is this jury nullification that Flo keeps talking about? Now, how might it play into the Mangione trial? And what does this mean for justice as we know it? Okay, so jury nullification. Jury nullification is this unique power jurors have, even if they don't realize. Essentially, a jury can decide to acquit a defendant even when the evidence proves guilt. Why? Because they believe the law itself is unjust or that it's being applied unfairly. So, for example, let's say someone is on trial for stealing food to feed their family. The evidence is clear. They stole that shit, right? Follow me. But the jury might feel like punishing that person doesn't align with their sense of justice. So they'll choose to acquit. That, my friends, is jury nullification in action. But here's the thing. It's a legal gray area. Judges won't tell jurors they have this power. In fact, bringing up jury nullification directly in court can sometimes be seen as misconduct. Now, why would I say that? Because they feel like it's essentially saying you as a juror can override the law. Again, y'all, we have the power. Don't ever forget that. And that's a scary idea for a system built on strict rules and procedures meant to keep us in place and basically tell us to shut up and eat our food. Now let's tie this concept to the case at hand, Luigi Mangione. He's being accused of murdering Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, and the prosecution is painting a picture of premeditation, motive, and a cold-blooded killing. Now, they've got evidence, they've got testimony, and they feel like they have a strong case. But let's think about the defense, y'all. They're hinting at something very different. They're not necessarily saying Luigi didn't do it. Instead, they're setting the stage for an emotional appeal to the jurors' sense of justice. The underlying argument could go something like this. Luigi's actions, while technically illegal, were a response to a system that's broken. Maybe they'll point to unethical practices in the healthcare industry or personal grievances that pushed him to a breaking point. Or maybe they'll just prove or say that he didn't do it all together, and the jury might agree. Now that brings us to a question. Is jury nullification ethical? Now, on one hand, it's empowering, giving power to the people like us, you and me, that if we get caught up or one of our peers get caught up in an unfair law, we can take action in our hand. It's a way to push back against the system. It's a form of protest. It's a way to inject humanity into a rigid legal process. But on the other hand, it could be unpredictable. Imagine if every jury just decided to make their own rules. What then will happen to the consistency? What happens with justice when it becomes subjective? These are the questions that people ask who may be against jury nullification. But in Luigi's case, this question looms large. If the jury decides to nullify, meaning if they acquit him despite evidence that might point to him, what message does that send? Does it say we need to rethink how we handle cases like this? Or does it open the door for chaos in the courtroom? Brian Thompson wasn't just any victim. He was the CEO of a massive company. A man with influence and resources most of us can only imagine. And Mangione, he's being painted as an everyman, someone who snapped under the weight of a system that feels rigged against people like him. Now, let's be clear. This isn't about excusing violence at all. But it is about asking the hard questions that people don't want to ask. What do we do about this healthcare situation where millions are dying as they pay for their healthcare? What drives someone to do such drastic action? See, everybody want to look at the action. They want to look at the effect, but they don't want to look at the cause. If a CEO of a healthcare is murdered and the whole public is, in a sense, applauding it, what does that tell you about the healthcare? It's not like every day someone's killed and every day the public is just applauding it. 99.99999% of the time when someone is killed, public sides and feels bad for that family and wants the criminal or the suspect to rot. That's 99.9% of the time. But why in this case is the public behind Luigi? So instead of the government system trying to point the finger and badmouth the public and ridicule the public for being behind Luigi, they need to ask themselves, why? There must be something very wrong with this healthcare system if the public is happy, in a sense, that someone or a company who has took thousands of lives has one life taken of their own. And like I said, I'm not condoning violence one bit. I'm just telling you exactly what the hell is going on. Don't shoot the messenger. Jury nullification is one of those rare tools that puts power back in the hands of regular people like you and me. But with great power, like we always know, comes great responsibility. How it is used or misused can change the lives and cause ripple effects through our entire system of justice. So this Luigi case, just like the Diddy case, is one that the outcome will affect us for the rest of our life. If somehow Luigi is found innocent with all the cards stacked against him, they say they got all this evidence, but if somehow the jury finds him innocent, the healthcare think they got a problem on their hands right now. They're gonna have a serious problem if Luigi's acquitted, and I can see it happen. The people are pissed, and I'm with them. 34% denied coverage. So if you with United Healthcare and you really need some shit, and you've been paying your insurance, your health insurance all your life and everything, but if that coverage is an amount of money that they don't want to cover, or they want to keep their pockets fat, they're going to deny. 3 or 4 of y'all out of 10. It's fucking ridiculous, y'all. And we got to use this opportunity to stand up to their ass, because it's getting out of hand. And so we got more shit coming. I'm gonna have to dive tomorrow. I'm gonna have to dive into this Jay-Z cover-up that they got going on. Let me give you a little hint of that. It's a guy who has claimed to talk. He was in prison with R. Kelly, and he claims to have a lot of, let's just say, industry secrets, and a lot of them have to do with Jay-Z. And this is supposed to be stuff that R. Kelly told him. He said that that kid of Jay-Z's is that kid that was a grown man now that claims that he's Jay-Z's son. He says that's true, but he said way more than that. Bottom line is, this guy.
So even under all these circumstances, the cease, desist, they can try to silence me. I'm still good. You know what I mean? Like I got a different force behind me, and people will assume that I'm some ignorant, illiterate guy, but I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I know things I can and cannot say without having a legal consequence. And another thing I want to mention, because there have been a lot of bloggers insinuating that, you know, they're going to do it anyway. Every story that just seems too good to be true, they assume you lying, right? So with regard to the situation you just explained with the dude you was locked up with, you got to think, why has R. Kelly never came forward and tried to do that with me? And why he never came forward and said, proof is documented history that I was locked up with R. Kelly. I have a lawsuit with him and part of the lawsuit from when we was in NCC Chicago together between 2019 and 2021.
Now, this guy was locked up with R. Kelly and got a lot of information. Now, this is the crazy part, because, you know, there are a lot of people going on podcasts saying shit. But how we decipher who we gonna listen to, who might be credible, who not, you know, we all have our ways. But one thing that pointed me to this interview, which is brand new, you heard his name, Ronnie, is the FBI. There are claims that the FBI told him that someone was trying to kill him. And he's claiming that somebody in the FBI told him he was shot at. He was shot at. The person you just heard talking, he was shot at. And he's claiming that the FBI somehow insinuated or told him that Tata had something to do with it. Now, if you don't know who Tata is Jay-Z's right-hand man. Meaning he's been with Jay-Z since the beginning. He doesn't rap. He doesn't do anything. He's just a friend. And so this guy, Ronnie, has been, this interview was about an hour, a little over an hour long. But he talks about Jay-Z and R. Kelly. You know, he talked about how basically Jay-Z doing the same shit R. Kelly doing. That's in so many words. You got to go listen to the interview itself. I'm going to break down the whole interview tomorrow on my show. But whether you believe what he's saying or not, is definitely a good interview that you probably need to check out. Nobody's talking against this guy. Like he even said, R. Kelly hasn't called him a liar. He's been shot at, apparently. And it's just a lot of smoke. And what we always say on this show is where there's a lot of smoke, there's a lot of fire. And I don't like it. So we're going to talk about that Jay-Z tomorrow. And I also have to shout out the subscriber of the day. Please subscribe for the exclusive content, all the deep dives of the stories. The Shakir Stewart, the record exec who was unalived after being and kicking it with Diddy's ex Kim Porter. I told that story. I told the Aaliyah, I gave some new in-depth analysis on the Aaliyah tragic passing. It's a lot more. Allie Carter got Whitney Houston coming up, Jaguar Wright. More live episodes. Please subscribe and keep the lights on to this podcast and all the subscribers. Let's shout out Lynn Pagan, subscriber of the day. If I pronounced the last name wrong, I'm sorry, but thank you for subscribing to the Flo Show No Filter. We got all the exclusive content for you, and thanks for just helping to keep the lights on the podcast. We appreciate you. If you don't know where to subscribe, go to the show notes. If you're listening to this on Apple and Spotify, go to the show notes and subscribe. Look at the Buzzsprout subscriptions. Also, I got my Patreon with a lot of exclusive, everything exclusive will also be going on Patreon. You can go to the show notes and also look at that link and subscribe to my Patreon for all kind of exclusive access, and you can request certain deep dives that you might want me to do. So, Lynn, again, I appreciate you. Let me give you another clap. Let me give you a real clap because we appreciate you here at the Flo Show No Filter. And for anybody else, if you can, don't hesitate to subscribe. Now, real quick before I get out of here, things that we're gonna have to that are going on that we need to pay attention to. They are coming up. They are doing a constitutional amendment that will allow presidents to seek a third term, but they are also putting a clause in that amendment where that will, but Obama, Bill Clinton, those type of people can't run again, but it will leave room for Trump to run again. Y'all need to look into that. And if you're against it, stand up. If you're with it, then there it is. Check it out. But definitely, these are things that I think are getting snuck up under the radar that people aren't either missing because there's so much other shit going on. But we need to pay attention to another crazy thing I want y'all to pay attention to before I get out of here. They have just found a UFO moving fast as fuck underwater, and it's huge. And this is from Congress. This is real news. Go look it up. I'm not going to go into it. just like it's one of those stories that's like, why the fuck? You know, you have certain stories that make you say, why the fuck am nobody talking about this shit? And so that's one of them. Like, why is nobody talking about these UFOs that they're really talking about on real news that's supposed to be underwater, big as hell, moving fast as hell? Now, I don't know what the hell going on with it, but if I see shit that I think y'all need to look into, I'm gonna let y'all know. And also, one of my devoted listeners had something they want to share about the Chris Brown lawsuit. I covered that on Friday. It's a very, very touchy situation, but there's quite a few people who want to speak out for Chris Brown. I'm gonna read one of them in the fan mail. And again, I encourage you all, whether you agree with what I'm saying, disagree with what I'm saying on a certain segment, whatever, please express yourself on the fan mail or DM me directly. I love different opinions and different takes. I hear my own takes all day long. Trust me, I like hearing what y'all have to say. So I'm not one of those podcasters or influencers that if you're not exactly saying what you think I'm saying or think I agree with, that you can't share it. I love hearing both sides, three sides of this coin, or both sides of the coin. So now that I didn't even have an opinion on the Chris Brown situation, I just told the story of what was going on. But here's someone who wants to speak out for Chris Brown. I don't know the person's name, but they're from Anaheim, California. And they say, regarding the Chris Brown lawsuit, I believe he is owed money. The accuser was proved to be a liar. He had text messages from her begging him to come see her again. And also that he was the best D she ever had. She got mad because he didn't call her back. They can't get over the Rihanna situation, but she forgave him. They put out music together after that incident, and he never denied the allegations, admitted his guilt, and did his time. If he was in the wrong, he did his time if he was in the wrong. I don't think he would file such a lawsuit if he was wrong. He also said he will donate a large portion of the money to the victims of domestic violence. So I had a couple messages like that, and I appreciate y'all sharing y'all thoughts. Anybody else, feel free. Like I said before, I love hearing everybody. That's what this show is about. Everybody has a voice. I'm using my voice to give y'all a voice. Like I said, I'm gonna say it again. You don't ever have to worry. All I care about is when you message. I hate people that just message and go crazy and out of control and cussing and doing it. Like I ain't here for that. But if you can tell me whatever you want to tell me, as long as it's respectful and coming from a good place, you can tell me anything. And if I have a chance to share it on my show, I will. And also another thing that I want y'all to pay attention to is this Tabitha Brown and other Black-owned brands who are saying that they don't want Blacks, minorities, women, and all of that to boycott Target and Walmart because it's going to affect their pockets, and people are boycotting them because of the DEI that they're dropping their diversity program. But then there are now a lot of minorities that are speaking out, saying that if you do that, it's going to hurt us. So that's a situation where I stand with the people who are boycotting, because my thing is 9 times out of 10, the people boycotting are in a worse position than whoever this entrepreneur, the person who owns this business that will be affected. But I have to be honest, I can see their side too. So I think as a people, we all need to pay attention to what's going on and see if we can come up with an effective way to show our support for the minorities, for the women, for the Black and brown community. So those things I want you to pay attention to. I ain't gonna hold y'all too much longer on the Flo Show No Filter. We about to get out of here. See y'all tomorrow, same time, 8-ish. As always, I love y'all. And I'm out. So we done. We about to upload this and do our thing. I appreciate everybody stepping in. As always, subscribe to the channel, like it, do whatever you got to do. And we'll be back tomorrow. Maybe tonight. Peace.